Welcome back to another No Limits video. This one we're still going on the Grand. Yeah, just a couple of little things to get it all finished off. So before we hook into that, yeah, we'll be soon finished with it soon. We'll be back onto the dual cab, which has become a bit of a bench at the moment. Anyway, before we hook into the Grand, we need to make somewhere to work on it, so better move the old girl. Might give this a quick sweep, so I've got to work here, so. So today what we're doing on the Grand, now that I've got it moved in here, is we're going to fix its stance. Because as you can see, it sits a little bit low in the front end with the ARB bull bar on it. Well, actually, shouldn't say whose bull bar, but anyway, yeah. There's not a huge amount of wheel clearance comparative to the back. Where the back's got tons of clearance. So in the rear I've already put in a 30mm coil from TJM. TJM no longer makes front coils or any shocks for this car. But also my local TJM, yeah, sponsored, mainly because they pay me like a wage every week because I work there. Yeah, my local TJM did manage to source some EFS springs and shocks for the front of it. So these are lifted, they're heavy to make up for the bull bar and an eventual winch, because that's what every daily driver slash soft wheeling sort of car needs. Anyway, so as the next step, we'll get this thing jacked up, pull the front wheels off it, and this will show you one of the other reasons why I have a bit of, I don't mind these WJs as a bit of an all-round sort of car. Actually, one quick thing before we jack this thing up is I'm just going to check our ride height beforehand. Let's see how much these coils actually lift this car. Which you should do this if you're changing your suspension. Actually part of your warranty process. Helps you get warranty if you think they're sagging. So you can see it there, 660mm from the bottom lip of the rim. Most manufacturers tell you to go to the centre of the wheel. I like the bottom lip of the rim. It's quite easy working out. If you're going to go to the centre of the wheel, it's kind of a bit of guesswork. So yeah, like I said, I go to the bottom of the rim. If they send a spec sheet or something like that where you're like, you know, I need to know from here, measure from here to here, divide it by 2, remove that off your measurement that you took from the bottom of the rim, and that'll give you dead center in the middle of the wheel, which will be a lot more accurate than standing there with a tape trying to guess it. Alright, let's get this jacked up. this is one of the things I like about the WJs. For those unfamiliar with them, is that's a full proper front axle with coil springs and a separate shock absorber in a mid-size wagon. So yeah, no IFS here, which is really nice. That's the sort of vehicles that I like. So yeah, one of the reasons I went towards this as a kind of daily car, as opposed to buying a normal little wagon. And I didn't want to invest the money into, say, a dual cab ute, which cost you a fortune. And I've got a ute. I've also got a dual cab ute. So yeah. Alright, before I delve too deeply into this, I do just want to check that I have the right front shocks. Because that could bring this to an end pretty quickly. And well, it's always a good thing. Check your parts. If you're unsure, this comes from someone actually working in these industries. If you tear the box open, no one will take it back. Let's quick look here. It's all my top bits. And it does take that stud thing at the bottom, which is pretty similar to how that one is. I believe this actually has actual studs in the shocks, but that's alright, we'll change them out to bolts. And that worked really well. And yeah, this should be a fairly simple, straightforward thing to change over. It'll be under the sway bar. Those two bolts there on the shock, the top of the shock, essentially let the axle down. Should get down far enough that we can just pull the springs out and slip the new coils in. So let's get into it. I'll be honest, I didn't think those top shock bolts had come undone. I thought they were going to fight me to the death, but anyway, now we just got to drop the sway bar. We should just be able to drop the coils and shocks out of this thing. Now we should just be able to drop the axle down and drop the springs out. That's how easy it is to take the coils out of them. Now we just slip the new coils in, new shocks in, jack it back up, and we're done. Here's our new coils. These opened up with the assistance of my supervisor right here. Always look. So this has part number, and it actually has DS written on it right there, which would be driver's side. So it is worth checking just to make sure you, in this particular one we have left and right hand coils, so yeah, always double check that one, make sure. Especially if you're fitting them yourself, make sure that you've got your coils in the right way around. That'll save you a very embarrassing conversation with the guy supplying your parts. Because at the end of it, he doesn't go, Oh, that's just an easy mistake that everyone makes. He waits till you walk out and he goes, gee, that guy was an idiot. I'll charge him extra next time. So I said, if you are doing this at home, just always have a look. So near side, which is your near side of the gutter, passenger side, and the other one has driver side written on it. So I'll slip these in here and be ready to go in no time. A fair bit taller. That's what we're after. Just like that. Alright, both coils are in. They got the springs seated. Live axle cars, they really are just that simple. I'm just going to put the shocks in, hook my sway bar back up, which is, to be honest, relatively easy. Let's do that on both sides and tighten it. But yeah, put my shocks in. I just got to find some bolts for the bottom of those. We're back in business. Push that off. Important thing to bleed your shocks out too. Whenever you get new shocks, just gets the air out of them. Now it'll go straight in. Some new bolts for the bottom. Don't mind the gold zinc plating. They are high tensile. They're just from Bunnings, which is all I could get at this time of day. But still a high tensile bolt. The zinc's just a rust coating, so. Alright, so tighten them up. Hook the sway bar back up on the other side, tighten it up, and put the wheels back on. We'll be all right to go. Might throw some grease in these ball joints while I've got the wheels off, actually. Keep going with it. Alright, last thing I've got to tighten up is this sway bar. I did jack the suspension up so it's, let's say, ride height before I tighten that bush up. So I'm going to throw the wheels back on him and put it on the ground and see how high it sits. How much better is that? Which is a little bit high, but by the time I actually put a winch in the front, this thing should be perfect. What do you reckon, dog? You don't care. Anyway, let's back her out where we can really admire it. We need to check. So bottom of the rim, like we did before, to the guard. We're at 750. So We're originally 660, so it's 90 mils, which is a fair bit out of, I think, what was supposed to be a 30 mil coil. But that goes to show you how low this car was to start with. Yeah, which is not unusual. Alright, so yeah, it does go to show how low that this actually was, being that it's come up 90 mils, which, like, don't be alarmed, and we get people at work come in, and especially they'll go in to buy shocks or something like that and be, oh, it's got a 3-inch lift in it, and you think that's a little bit odd, and then realise that once you speak to them for a little bit, you work out that they put a 2-inch lift in it, and it came up 3 inches, and then they think they've got a 3-inch lift. They actually don't. They've still got a 2-inch lift. So that would be the case with this particular car. If I went to get another set of shocks for even the rear and went, oh, it came up 3 inches, and I buy 3-inch shocks, they're going to be way too long for this vehicle, because it's only got a 30 mil lift in it. It's 30 millimeters over its factory height, and the car was 60 millimeters below that height. Yeah, the weight of the bull bar has not helped it. That would have brought it down a little bit more. And yeah, it's a 20-odd-year-old car now, so which is a bit of a scary thought, isn't it? So it's had a fair bit of time. I believe these had a pretty soft suspension to start with, because they were a luxury car. So yeah, overall, though, really happy with how it's turned out. Really happy with how it sits. Yeah, and like I said, any little tips and tricks that have helped you with this one, helped you out. Like, it's the same idea, will work with a Patrol or a, you know, solid axle Landcruiser. Anything with a solid core sprung front end in it. Also, the same theory works for doing the rear of any of your new wagons with the coil rear end in them. Yeah, you remove the sway bar, the rear shocks, and you can drop your axle down enough to get your coils out and swap new coils in. So, alright, well, hope you picked up some tips and tricks from this one. Not that there probably was too many, but yeah, if you enjoyed it, like I said, give us a follow, give us a like, subscribe, all those things. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.